Feeling like a Monday, y'all. We've got some fun stuff though. We have I can see that these two screens are really far apart, and it's going to be bad for our like our eyeballs.
'Cause I'm looking here, and
we should look in here. All right, y'all. We are getting tuned in, straightened up, letting y'all log in. It's a Friday, feeling like a Monday, so we have a sale fabric that you will want to stay tuned into and tuned in for. We are talking about the new Pantone color, which is this Very Perry is what it's called.
Love that color.
So if you're making for a lot of different skin tones, you can put this on anyone, is what they're saying.
Michelle just said that's supposed to be great for bridesmaid dresses because it looks good with every hair color and every skin tone. So I've heard that over the years too, and it's really pretty.
I love periwinkle.
Yeah.
Actually, Cookie Bar said that the last time she was in here. Yes, something about periwinkle looks good on everyone. Yeah. We have demonstrations for the Simflex tool. We have the blue line eraser tool, Notion demonstration, because it came in very handy and it was the only thing that helped us this week. We have a technique for machine sewn buttonholes and how to prep your area along with this Simflex demonstration. So we are going to get started with our sale fabrics, and then we're going to move into some new kits that we have along with Sally's week 34, which is this adorable bobinette dress with this very beaded sequin trim that she used. It's so
and it coordinate thread came in handy for me this week too.
So let's get started with our sale fabric. So talking about the new Pantone color, it's like a deep periwinkle, or Very Perry is what they're calling it. I love it.
We went walking around the shop, and what did we see right away? This is a silk organza. And for some reason, we have it labeled as Royal, but honestly, we need to label it as Very Perry.
It's really, it's almost the exact color.
Did we give you that one yet?
For this year.
It was roll,
so we're gonna go to an overhead so y'all can see it a little bit closer up.
Can you read? Is there?
We'll get it linked. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here it is in like kind of a bunched up color, so you can see it better.
And then what does it look great with? This fabric that we made Madeline's dress out for the beach. So
we have a floral sheen sateen that we're marking down, and it's really a wonderful weight for for every season. It's very beautiful. It has a soft sheen finish,
no stretch.
It's a floral pattern, leaves and maybe berries. It's really beautiful. It made up, actually. It's so pretty. Let's show it.
And it has all these shades of blues and periwinkles and a little bit of lavender, so it's perfect for the season's Pantone color.
So you always want to know, let's go back to regular. Sorry about that, y'all. You always want to know what the price is. So originally it's $16.50 a yard. It's like a 16-inch fabric. And we are marking it down to
$9.99.
$9.99. So there's a 1 yard minimum on our sale fabrics. And through this weekend, definitely you'll be able to get this for $9.99.
Yep. So this pattern is a vintage Vogue pattern that I'm using for several of the girls for beach dresses, and it's Vogue, vintage Vogue. It's a number 6771. Right.
That's right. Yep.
Right. We've said it many times. We have ordered it. It's a reproduction, and we ordered it from
Lady Marlowe.
Lady Marlowe on Etsy. I should have that at the tip of my tongue.
So $9.99, sheen sateen. That's our sale. It's the Pantone color of the seasons.
I guess do they do it season
of the year?
Of the year. So
yeah, color of the year.
Good. Good. All right.
Color of the year announced in August. At the end of August.
I don't know. I just know that I like that color, and when I had an email that said it, I thought, oh, I like that. We're gonna have to talk about that. Yeah.
Let's clear off some of our table here.
Okay.
So we love the Collars Etc. pattern. Trudy Horn from Collars Etc. created our favorite bodice dress, is what we call it. It's got great collar options for you. It's got a straight sleeve, a puff sleeve, a sleeveless version. It's sizes 1 to 4 or 5 to 8.
Different collar versions. or no collar. I mean, they show all with a collar, but you can make it with no collar, and it's wonderful. We love using this pattern in kits. And
like today, we have two kits over here. So we have the, we're calling this Alicia Bell. And this is a beautiful kit using Liberty of London and then a coordinate for the sash and the collar.
I think they used organdy for the collar and sash.
Was
one
it
of the
organdy?
New Swiss organdies, right?
Pretty.
Yeah, new Swiss organdy
this
for the
is
collar
really pretty.
and sash.
So in the same style, sleeveless with a front, a flat front sash, and then a back tie. It's very pretty. So here are two new kits. It's using the bodice dress by collars, etc. In our kits, you can find all the parts and pieces that you need to create the look. And they're really beautiful. The coordinates, they really like pop out at you. They're so nice. Pretty.
The pattern is separate because you might already have the pattern, or you might want more than one kit and you don't need more than one pattern. So the pattern may be purchased separately.
All right.
But they've been having a lot of fun putting kits together, and it's fun to see all the coordinates all piled on top of the tables, and
I like the digital designs because it's like a picture's worth 1,000 words. So it shows you exactly what we're thinking for placement and how you might use that those cuts of fabric.
So I want to tell you that this is a little tip that's not on our list. This is another one of my sweaters that I got from the thrift store. That's Talbot's, and look how cool this is. They have used probably like a 6mm grosgrain ribbon and just sewn it right down, right there you go, just top stitched right down the front where the buttons are attached. And because this knit fabric is so soft, the buttons can pull through. In fact, I have one of the sweaters I had to repair because the button pulled through. But how awesome is this? Y'all can do this with your sweater. Just top stitch that ribbon down, and then the buttons are actually sewn right on top of that ribbon, and that gives it a stabilizer. So I'm having a lot of fun with these clothes they're kind of what I consider better made than average, and to see what techniques they've used
and where and how.
And that we can incorporate when we're sewing things for
it's pretty good when you want to lay on the table to show
like,
what you got going on.
Look at this. And this one does actually have a little room in here. This is like a hollow, like a casing. So I didn't have time this morning, but I am going to I'm going to cut a little opening back here like a buttonhole. And I'm going to thread elastic through here, and that will raise this neckline up and draw it in.
To be more fitted and tailored for you. Mm-hmm.
Yep, because my shoulders are big. I mean, my shoulders are narrow, but other parts are big.
Cheryl Glander says hello from Wiz.
Hey Cheryl.
Says Wisconsin.
Oh yeah.
Love your jacket, Sally.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So we have some new sewing kits. I brought this. We put on fabric bundles or fabric pre-cut pieces. We add them very often to our new arrivals list. They will make it into the newsletter, but a lot of times they're already sold out by the time anyone opens up the newsletter because they're really good deals. This is a beautiful, I couldn't pass it by. I saw it on Christy's desk the other day as she's getting ready to put it on, and I really love it.
Do you know where it came from?
I do know where it came from. Because I said, did you get these or did someone bring them up to you? So this is a washed linen, and it is washed by Sally. For sure. I made that up right now, but I know it's true.
That is true.
It is a beautiful yellow and white and blue.
I do love it.
I love it. The colors are beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
It's very soft. It's 100% linen. And we have 2 of these available. So this is going to be one of like our bundle deals. It's a pre-cut continuous piece. This particular one is 2 7/8 yards. I'm not sure if they're both the exact same size, but this is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful piece. So originally it's going to be around $63, but right now this particular bundle is on sale for $28. So 2 7/8 yards is a great price for
Look how pretty that is.
100% linen.
You know, Christy asked me, can you make baby blankets out of linen? And I thought, well, I don't know why not. Some of the best sheets and pillowcases I have are 100% linen that came from estate sales. Oh my goodness, I
They're
love them.
soft.
Yes, they're soft. They're smooth. They feel wonderful.
Oh, that's a great summertime
I know.
blanket.
Or even
that's
a
so pretty.
coverlet or something like that.
That's beautiful.
So you can do a lot with linen. If you don't want to do that, you can make dish towels out of them. Because I love drying dishes with linen towels.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's interesting.
I don't like to use paper towels. I'm not a paper towel person.
I love them.
I know you do, but I like rather not spend the money. And
I'd rather like use a whole roll instead of find me a towel.
I want a towel. I want dish towels.
Okay, so
Different generations.
a better generation. All right.
I don't know which is which.
I was about to say, your brother does the same thing.
It's from my mother, actually. That's
Oh,
why I love
using
them so
paper
much.
towels?
She's your generation.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe that. Wow.
All right, y'all. So whether you like paper towels or
Ice cream.
ice cream, that was a fun giveaway question this week. We went through our store and we grabbed out some of our button containers, and you can see that Sally has a preference for vanilla, cookies and cream, and then this was an interesting frozen yogurt.
That's when I was on a diet.
This is a fat-free frozen yogurt. So, yes.
Don't we love to reuse our containers?
I do love
And
these.
so Kristen said, I told her I haven't eaten ice cream in almost 10 years. I love ice cream. And so we asked you in our giveaway question what your favorite ice cream was, and I'm reading all these things thinking my mouth was watering. I could taste that ice cream when people were describing it. There's a real love of ice cream. There is. And Chris,
Makes sense.
She said, you must have eaten a lot of ice cream because we still have all these ice cream containers that we use for our buttons. And I said, well, I would buy ice cream sometimes thinking I need another container that size. Might as well enjoy what's in it, right?
Well, I get attached to a certain opening style or closing style, and I like that.
Yeah, because it has that little...
That lip where you can get in there.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, y'all. So back to sewing here. I guess it relates because our giveaway is a banana split giveaway today. If you're not getting in on our giveaways, we are posting a video on Mondays and Thursdays. There you can comment and tag a friend and enter in your name to see if we draw you live. So what do you think? What you want to do? You want to do a button gauge? You want to do your blue line eraser? What you feeling?
Do that. Since
All
we're
right.
talking about things on sale.
How about for this upcoming warm or cold weather sewing, we have a beautiful cotton velveteen that's on sale.
We do, and it is 56 inches wide. Regular price is $25.49. It's a dark brown. It is gorgeous, and it is a velveteen. It's not a thick velvet, but it's a wonderful piece. I mean, honestly, this would be great for boys, girls and boys, but like boys' shorts, button-on shorts, and things like that.
That would be really pretty.
But we also have, made out of the same fabric, we have a coordinating piping. And so it's really nice. You don't have to cut into your velveteen to get the piping. We carry the piping as well. And so...
Actually, this is like so fabulous to not have to make your velveteen piping.
It really is. Anytime you don't have to cut or tear velveteen
Right,
and have
is
all
a
those
good
little
thing.
fuzzies everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So the fabric is marked down to $13.99 a yard, and regular price is $25.49. So anyway, there will be a link to it on here, and you're gonna love it for the fall. This would be a great jacket, a cape, all kinds of things, jumper, dress like that, sissy dress you could make out of.
That would be pretty.
Yeah.
So boys to girls, women, men, it's a great color for everybody.
Yeah, it is good. It is good.
All right, how about we're going to go to an overhead to show y'all our Simflex tool. So every time we bring this out, people ooh and ah over it, and then also people talk about how much they love it. It is a gauge so that you, depending on, I mean, you could sew for any size, and you have this, what would you say? Accordion style pull that you can actually space it without having to go through and measure and divide that by how many buttons you want to use. It spaces it as you pull it apart. But I think it's so cool because you can lay it on there and see if you like the way that it looks.
That's right.
Or you can say, you know what, I don't want to do 25 buttonholes. I want to do 22. Let's make that thing a little wider.
Yeah, or you just don't have to use all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so this on a child's dress, you don't want it spaced too far apart. This is right now a little over 2 inches. And actually we could go a little bit farther. That's maybe 2 1/4 inches. So let's just see how it looks on here. So this is the back of a sissy, a wink and a nod sissy pattern. And of course this has been made for a long time, and there aren't any buttons and buttonholes because you can pin this and show and show it. But anyway, that's what I said to Crystin, do we have anything here without buttons and buttonholes? And she's like, yeah, are you kidding?
We do, actually.
Of course. But this is such a neat tool because let's say I want to start my top buttonhole close to the top of the back, the center back, and so I'm going to line up all of these points with the fold of my facing, and then with the blue line, with the blue marker. What?
I said let's mark this bottom one.
Okay, this one right here.
Uh-huh.
So I like to go and put a dot right in the center of that groove, and we have a button here, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Take a button and I'll see. Let's use one of the ones that we glued on already, which is that guy.
All right, so what we're doing now is we're grabbing a button so that you can really see how handy dandy this little tool is.
So here's my little button, and I'm going to put it
let's
down here. Okay, we're going to come right down here, and I'm going to put it close to the opening here, and I'm going to see. You don't want to mark your buttonhole just exactly the same size as the button, because the button actually has a thickness. And so you have to add a little bit extra in order for that button to slide through that buttonhole when you cut it open.
A little extra width.
Yeah, a little extra
length for your
buttonhole. Length. So this Simflex tool has numbers on it. So once I determine where I want the back of my buttonhole to go, I can see that's a 2 over here and a 4 over here. I'm going to go right here. And so then I'm going to mark the same thing here, and then between the 2 and the 4, and the same thing here, and between the 2 and the 4. And can we go one more?
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing, and I can see I'm a little away from here, and then between the 2 and the 4. So the neat thing about this is that because I'm marking on the inside of this groove at the front and the back of the buttonhole, I'm marking it exactly in a straight line. Sometimes, I just wing it. I measure with a measuring tape, and I get the front of my buttonhole all in place marked. And then I just go and I lay my button on there, and then I mark the other side. But I'm not always straight, and sometimes the buttonhole tips up, sometimes it tips down, and sometimes it's straight. But
when you're the one that sews it, you notice that.
You do notice that, and usually I notice it when it's done, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to take it apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crooked,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody is going to notice it when that button is in there. You can. That's really true. But I don't like that. I don't like it. But this is really awesome because wherever you mark the front of your buttonhole and you mark the back, then that's in a straight line, especially when you're
according to how you have your gauge.
Now if you have your gauge tipped this way,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be in a straight line. But if you have your little points hitting right at the edge of the fold, then you're going to
be as straight as your sewing is.
That's right. So anyway, that was pretty nifty. And so then once you sew your buttonholes in, that's when I go and that's when I mark where my buttons need to go. And I never make buttonholes ahead of time. I always wait until I have the exact button that I'm going to use, because I don't want to put in a 1/2 inch buttonhole and then maybe pull a button that says a 1/2 inch, but it might be thicker than normal, and it's not going to fit in that 1/2 inch buttonhole. So I always get my button first and then measure my buttonhole. And so then I come back, and when I have my buttonholes in, I flip my facing back like this. I match it up like at the top of the neck and the bottom of the skirt. I match it up. I flip it back, and then I mark where my buttons go, and so that they'll line up with the buttonholes. And then this is what I really love to do. Where did that glue pen go?
This is pretty handy.
So,
and as you can tell,
I actually do this too.
We glued these on yesterday for a demonstration, and they are still stuck today. And what was so surprising is after you put the glue on, I mean, it wasn't a minute later. We flipped the garment over, and they were stuck. They don't
fall off.
Yeah.
And so these are just glued on. This little button is just glued on. So I'll show you what I do with the little markings that I made yesterday. So
start here.
Okay. So this is my glue pen. This is a Soline glue pen. We have like 2 or 3 different brands, but this is the one I'm using today. And I just make a dot, and then you got the button.
Oh yeah.
And then I like my button hole to go, the holes of my button
parallel to the ground.
Yeah. I like them to go in the same direction as my buttonhole, actually, because then when the buttonhole pulls away from it, then it lines up just right. And so look at here. It's stuck. And so, yeah.
Even faster.
Yep. Let's see. Watch it flip. And so then...
So it's not an overnight thing. You're not ready to do buttons and buttonholes, and then you're having to wait overnight to come back and sew on the buttons.
So once I have them all glued on like this, and then you're not taking a handful over to your sewing machine and like, whoops, I dropped a button. Then you spend 15 minutes trying to look in your trash can and wherever, because it fell down. They're already glued on. And so then I like to use my sewing machine to sew them on. I do that. Then it's super fast.
And especially because I know that you walk the needle down for the first couple holes. I do. And then after that, I mean, it's fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
and usually, it has a certain number of stitches for each repetition. Maybe, let's say 6. 6 times it goes back and forth. I'm not sure. But I always make it go twice. I always do it twice. And then sometimes, once I trim my threads, I'll go back behind the button, and with a dot of fray check, I'll put a dot of fray check on the knot so that it doesn't come unwound.
It's funny. My children wear a lot of the things that you make, and I don't think we've ever lost a button.
Good.
And so,
glad to know that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a testament to your process.
When Crystin just said, you don't have to do this and come back tomorrow, made me think of when I was working on this little netting dress on the netting. I used
y'all, how cute is this? So this is week 34. Sally is doing a weekly sewing challenge with every week of the year. She sews at least one project. Some weeks there are multiple projects.
Yeah.
This is so pretty.
I really got inspired from Joe Rosdick's dress with the green with the netting and the way she did the sleeves. And so she was here. Joe was here.
Joe was here. She is an artist, and she paints fabrics, but she also brought in this beautiful bobinette dress.
I love that.
It is so pretty.
So that inspired me, and then I was looking at it to see how did she do her sleeves, and these are just pinned on. Everything is just pinned to the mannequin right now. But we wanted to see, was it going to be too much to have that little trim on the shoulders? And we decided we love it. So anyway, but in order to get this, the bobinette gathered properly, I actually marked.
This dress was created with the Boo and Lou pattern Wren. We had a vintage style pattern with this gathered front, almost like puffing. And we landed on the Boo and Lou Wren. And this was perfect to recreate this vintage pattern that we had sewn before.
So this was the vintage pattern. It is Simplicity 2945. Love this. I made it for 2 of my granddaughters and made it out of dotted Swiss. And so then I kind of revamped the Boo and Lou to make this a solid piece right here, and then gathered this up like puffing. But I wanted to gather it evenly, so I marked it with a blue line marker. I quartered off the underneath part, the broadcloth, and I marked my lines for the puffing with a blue line marker.
Y'all, so like how drippy is polyester bobinette? I mean, you can almost gather it with your fingers. So you think it would be such an easy gather. And what did you end up landing on? So we got a new technique for y'all because this was impossible to gather.
In fact, you can see this big long string here. This
Chunk
is
of thread.
This is coordinate. Coordinate is like a buttonhole twist thread. It's a heavier thread. And it's a Mettler thread. And
so Ann Peebles also used that for her.
Or did she use a coordinate?
Didn't she?
Oh.
That was the white.
Or did she order that was a different? Was it coordinate?
I thought.
Maybe it was. I wonder if it was this width.
Ann Peebles did the lace. Go ahead. What's it called?
Carrot McCarrot.
Carrot McCross.
Carrot
McCross.
Anyway, I tried gathering this bobinette with to do gathering threads to gather this skirt up. I'd get about 10 inches and my thread would break. And I was using good polyester thread. It would just get caught up and it was horrible. I was so frustrated. And so then I pulled a peachy pink color.
So we're not going away from this. We're committed to this idea.
Yeah, that's right.
So in order to make it work.
Yes. I just gathered over the top of, and I know people do it with fishing line, but I thought, I don't know if it's going to show, what's going to happen. So I pulled the coordinate thread. This works so great. And I just left a long tail down here, and then I zigzagged over the thread and the full width of the skirt. And also I did it with the little sleeves, and then just pulled it up to fit and sewed it in. I sewed the netting layer first to the bodice, and then I gathered up the skirt and sewed that to the bodice.
How full did you make this skirt? Was it more full than the pattern required?
Yes.
And then did you also make your skirt less full?
No, I made the broadcloth skirt the same
the
fullness,
lining.
30 inches and 30 inches, 30 in the front, 30 in the back. But this is, I don't know how wide that is. I did.
It's 60 plus.
I did two widths, 60 in the front and 60 in the back. Okay. I did 2 widths, but really it needs to be gathered up a lot because I almost thought, I wonder if it needed 2 layers.
Yeah, right.
It could have taken more.
It's beautiful,
but
it doesn't need that.
But
now this it needed.
Yeah, it did. So this is a double layer, which I thought was good, and that's what Joe Rosdick did. And this is a folded edge. So this is gathered up here, and and it worked great.
So, but I can see that working for other fabrics that you're having a hard time gathering. But to incorporate, Sally had said that you can use fishing line, but if you have a thicker something like coordinate,
and it doesn't break easily. But fishing line sometimes is like bouncy, and I want it to lay where I want it to lay. So this worked great. It's Mettler. It's a polyester. Yeah, so that's why it's so strong, right? They call it a coordinated top stitching thread. Comes
so like
in lots of colors, and it's wonderful. So
in marking where she needed to go across the bodice for gathering and making sure that her gathers were evenly spread across the bodice, Sally used a blue line pin. So she marked the center and then she marked the quarter lines.
And I thought, well, you know what? I didn't want to go in the other room and get the blue line eraser. This is our blue line eraser. We sell it all the time.
And she has water at her ironing board.
Yes,
so.
I have my spray can
which
at my
is
ironing
what
board.
Removes a blue line.
Or this.
Yeah.
But if you're drinking coffee, you don't want to lick it. And also, and there was a whole lot of it too. It's like a lot of lines. It's like I can't just lick that off.
I wish I had a video of contemplating if she's gonna lick.
I know, and so I thought, all right, well, and you know, once you spray it, you have to let it dry, and so I had to like sew the trim on, but I wanted to get all those lines off first, so I sprayed it with water, and then I laid it over the ironing board to air dry. I'd come back, and there are those blue lines all back again. I was so, I bet I did it 5 times. I thought,
I'm hearing there's frustration in this dress.
This is really crazy. Yeah, I am. Right. It'll be easier the next time.
Right.
And
Catherine says she uses fishing line. She's used that before.
Yeah.
It works,
yeah,
y'all.
It does. So I went up and got my blue line eraser, and
because desperation had set in.
Yeah. So we have it in a travel size, and I went and brought that down by my ironing board. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna show you on here.
How about a live demonstration? I'm gonna put it right here.
This says spray me. So I'm gonna spray it. So hopefully it works because I haven't practiced. And it's disappearing. And it disappeared on my dress and it didn't come back when it dried. One spray and it didn't come back. So
one session.
Yeah, one session. And I thought, this stuff works.
Well, it's so interesting. I could see in the overhead that the word was still there.
Yeah.
And actually, that's now disappeared too.
Yeah, I could see it too, just faintly.
Right, but now that's gone as well.
If you lift it up, can you still see it?
Yes.
The tiniest bit.
I can.
I wonder when it dries if it'll go away.
Yeah.
And then we were wondering, is it easier to get blue lines off of cotton or polyester? That's what Crystin was saying.
I'm thinking you could do hidden messages with a blue line marker that when they get wet, they might show back up.
You can do them with what are the friction pens, and when they get cold, then it all comes back. It's like you go outside and it says, "I'm freezing." You know,
like maybe you want to tell your daughter-in-law to iron this garment, so when she pulls it out of the washing machine, she can read "Iron me."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We'll go back to gathering just a minute.
Yeah.
Rolani wants to know, how did you gather your dotted Swiss?
My dotted Swiss. Whenever I did the dotted Swiss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with the dotted Swiss, I used my regular gathering threads, which I set my length on 5, which I think is my longest length, and
so you extend your thread length.
Mm-hmm. And then I probably with the dotted Swiss I might have done 2. When I do the skirt, I did 3 on this one, three rows together, but maybe in between here where I gathered it up for puffing looking, I did 2 rows of gathering.
So dotted Swiss is on a voile weight, so it's very lightweight, and it's 100% cotton, or the kind that we typically carry.
Yeah.
And
much easier to
it's much easier to gather.
I think because the netting has all those holes and your needle's going down in there, and then it just, it gave me a headache. It was bad. It was bad.
Okay, so what else do we have up here? We had the gauge, we had the coordinate, the blue line eraser. We might be all out, y'all.
Sissy pattern.
We have a Sissy for fall.
Yeah.
So Sissy is a pattern line that was this the original? This was the first of the Wink and a Nod pattern line. Cindy Foose and Sally collaborated to come out with a few patterns, and this is the square neckline.
We actually switched it around, and because the back has a square neckline, and we wanted to button it in the front, and so. It's like,
oh geez, y'all.
Why can't I ever leave something alone? I don't know.
You can create this look with the Sissy, but really, Sissy opens in the back and it has like a princess line in the front.
Yeah.
So,
but you can make it square, and you can open it in the front.
But it's great for corduroy. I can tell you that. Whether you do it in the front or the back, it's
so we made this. Oh my goodness. Well, Elijah and Ella was wearing this, and they were just little 3. Tiny. They were like 3-year-olds. And they were so cute, our 2 little redheads, and they're just good friends, and they made the cutest little picture together.
So it looked really pretty. This Swiss whale corduroy matches up beautifully with a Swiss edging. So
I would never have thought of it. I'm sure that that was Cindy's idea, because Cindy is a detail person, and she really does a beautiful job.
I don't know why I'm thinking Rachel Gleason.
On this one, I think Cindy might have done this one, but
I don't know why. That's in my brain.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is one of the pattern lines. We've been showing the dolly. We have been kidding a lot of the dolly pattern. It has a gathered front skirt, and it has a beautiful little bow that goes across the front, and that's a sweet, like an all seasons kind of dress.
Hey, Catherine said she didn't know that you collaborated a pattern line.
Cindy Foose and I have a few. We've got the classic blouse, and we have the dolly, and we have Janie Bell jumper, and we have the Sissy. Yeah.
Check them out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So speaking of that twice a week giveaway, today we had a what is it called? Banana split. Bonnie split was the only thing coming to my brain. So, what we were talking about ice cream. Tell me the ones that you thought people put up there a lot.
Well,
what was a popular flavor?
Well, the popular flavor was after seeing that thing, I'm saying Blueberry. But is it Bluebell? Bluebell. People love Bluebell vanilla and French vanilla and homemade vanilla. They love Bluebell, so it must be good. But Crystin and I were saying we love Kroger brand of ice cream and also Publix brand premium. And somebody else mentioned that. It might have been Denise Ferris. But there were so many interesting comments and on the types of ice cream. And so I was reading them to my husband. Last night we were driving about an hour to go to a softball game. And I said, okay, what about this one? What about this one? And I know these are the ones. He's really a good eater, but he hates peppermint. He likes coffee, but only in hot coffee. And lemon. And so I'm reading them. Lemon chiffon. Doesn't that sound good? I love all those, but lemon chiffon, he's like, oh, what about Jamocha almond fudge? Oh, and I said, what about peppermint stick? Oh, the other one he can't stand is birthday party ice cream, which the kids love, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, don't buy birthday party ice cream. Anyway, your descriptions of ice cream were so much fun. Oh man!
You never know what you're gonna get. Every giveaway is different. We're starting to ask different questions just to see. It might be sewing related, or it might be your favorite ice cream. Who knows? Buttons, trims, fabrics. There's all kinds of different variations. And thank you all for all who entered.
This is Emma's creation. She said, "Okay." She's always looking up the National Something Day or International Something Day. So she said, "What if we have?" But this is so funny because. Guess what? Emma's never had a banana split. She didn't start with the bananas. She didn't start with the bananas. I'm like, you got to start with the bananas. Oh, you do? It was cute. It was cute. All right. So who do we have? Crystin, you want to go first?
All right. I don't eat ice cream, so.
Oh, you don't?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
All right. Eileen Hoffman. Love this assortment of fabrics and laces. My favorite ice cream is Jamocha almond fudge.
There you go.
All right. Congratulations, Eileen.
Yes.
We will see y'all back here, and we'll be gabbing and gushing with y'all soon.
Thank you.
Good job, Michelle. Right on the money.
2 times today.